Доброго дня, шановні колеги. Раді вітати вас в українському кризовому медіа.
We are ready to greet you at Ukrainian Media Center, and now we welcome Colonel Oleksandr Motuzyanyk, Speaker of Presidential Administration for the ATO operation. Good afternoon, dear friends. To your attention, the events in the ATO zone during the last 24 hours. The situation is worsened in the Lugansk area, and at midnight and in the morning, the separatists conducted shelling of Stanitsa Luganskaya, and they also were shelling at Krasny Yar and the section of the near the border, near village Siza. There's also rather quiet and near Shastya, but the situation at Bakhmutska highway was volatile, and the enemy shelled near Orekhova, near this village. So there was they fired artillery, mortar, and they used small arms. And the perimeter of Pervomaisk is the epicenter of confrontation, and we see the expansion of the theater of confrontation. The militants used no less than 4 sites that are situated in residential quarters and nearby villages. And Popasna and the village Novozvanivka came under mortar fire, and also Troitska and Stajarevka also suffered damage. Except the enemy uses APC artillery. They shelled from Grads systems. The shelling came from town of Irmina. In the direction of Donetsk, the situation was rather quiet. The active combat was only registered in the first part of the day. There was no use of heavy weaponry. Near Gorlivka, the situation is unstable. At the line of contact, there is disturbing fire. The small arms and mortars are used by the enemy.
Also, the militants use the large caliber weaponry. Yesterday, under the enemy's shelling, they were at Radivka, which is halfway between Artemivsk and Gorlivka. At the front section from Nelipivka to Verkhny Turetsky, the situation was quite there. At the western suburbs of Donetsk, the situation is constantly very difficult. They do not stop the shelling of the Ukrainian populated areas, the enemy. And in particular, yesterday after the midnight, the militants conducted a shelling from the artillery of Avdiivka. According to our reconnaissance data, the enemy's guns, which are located in Suvanvata, also as a result of the tank shelling of the enemy, 3 civilians were wounded, 1 woman and 2 her children. The Nevelsky, which is west of Pitsky. Also, the command center of control and coordination report about the systematic attempts of the occupants, invaders to be in the way to interfere with the restoration of the damaged infrastructure. On the whole, the combat actions are conducted along all the front line. At the same time, owing to the different echelons of the line of defense and the professionalism of the armed forces of Ukraine, which actually defend this stronghold, the ATO forces continue their defense, repelling the attacks of the enemy. And the Mariupol segment, the situation was reached near the dawn. During half an hour, the enemy was shelling the Ukrainian positions near Bogdanovka and between Volnovakh and Komsomolsk. A bit later, the militants shelled using 120mm mortar the village of Granitna. In both cases, they fired from a big distance from the eastern direction. Also in the Granitna, there was a short-term shelling Ukrainian positions using the multi-rocket launchers. And in Chermalik, near almost half an hour, shelling took place between NATO forces and the militants. Yesterday, near Pavlopoli in Shirokino, the ceasefire is observed. Yesterday, they recorded 13 flights of the enemy's drones. Yesterday, over the last 24 hours, one Ukrainian soldier was killed and 10 more were wounded. The SBU employees and the military guys of the Armed Forces of Ukraine detained one Russian near Stanitsa Luganska. Since December last year, he has been member of the reconnaissance detachment of LPR gang formation. SBU continues to stop the channels of communication between militants with their Russian instructors. The SBU guys eliminated an uncontrolled channel of international communication, or long-distance communication, which the criminals organized in the household of Bobrovitsa-Chernigiv region. They used the equipment of IP telephony for the uninterrupted communication with the leaders, between the leaders of the gang formations and their masters. This guy was detained. In Zaporizhia, they also revealed mechanisms of financing of the subversive groups on territory of Ukraine. And those illegal financial transactions were conducted by commercial structures from Kharkov through the exchange, the currency exchange booths in Zaporizhia. Also, our guys continue to seize the illegal weaponry from among the local population. Over the last 3 days, in private houses and in specially equipped hideouts in the Dnipropetrovsk, Donetsk, and Luhansk regions, they found about 10 grenades, grenade launcher, submachine gun, mortar, etc. Channel 1+1, do you have any information about the burned vehicles in Donetsk? I'm talking about those belonging to SC mission. Yes, we know about that information. You know, it's not difficult to guess who actually stands behind that action. And we know that the OSCE mission represents, especially of late, they provide information which is not favorable for the illegal armed formation. That's why it's obvious this was done by them or their hirelings, because they do not want the world to know what atrocities and what other things are done by militants. There is also some information about the evacuation of the people from that area. I don't have this information, no. Esteemed colleagues, if there are no more questions, thanks to Ken Motuzyanyk, thank you, and see you tomorrow at the same time with the news from ATO Zone. Thank you.